All right, Clip Rock here on Pirate Radio Live with Coach Shane Winkler from East Carolina Softball. Also, a couple of players, Anna Sawyer and Emma Jackson. Welcome in, Coach. Good to talk to you again. How you doing, sir?
Great. I mean, it's not really feeling like softball weather outside, but we're close, so the energy's high. But we're gearing up 2 weeks away.
We'll get to know a couple of the players as well. Love talking to former D.H. Conley Vikings like myself, Anna Sawyer, and we'll get to know Emma Jackson as well. But Coach, we'll start with the season last year, and you want to come in like year one and go ahead and win right away. That'd be awesome, but there's got to be something satisfying about building this thing too. And the team was able to win in conference play last year, great overall record, win a postseason game. So you had to check a few boxes last year, right? Not the ultimate thing you want to do here, but very successful year.
Yeah, year 1 and 2, we started learning how to compete, and we did so better in conference. Not the overall conference records that we would have wanted the first 2 years, but it's been a process along the way. So, like I said, we checked off some of those boxes last year, but we wanted to show that we can compete in this league. This is a multi-bid league for the NCAA tournament every year. The league was as strong as ever last year. I mean, you had 4 or 5 teams that were in the top 50 RPI all year long last year, and we hung with them. We won a series from Charlotte, who was in the top 25 at the time. We were right there with FAU, top 25 team. So we put ourselves in a position where we learned that we can compete with the rest of the league. We had a non-conference schedule last year that we did really well. And again, this has been kind of 4 years in the making now to put us where we are heading into this season.
And a good example of how you build that is what local homegrown talent and also hitting the portal, right? So I got to do it different ways, and you've been able to attack that and develop a good roster here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at our pitching staff, it's been more homegrown. All 5 of our pitchers right now. In the past, we had a couple transfers come in, but on our roster now, it's all kids that we brought in from high school travel ball teams, that kind of a young pitching staff. And then our position players, we've got a good mix of kids that we recruited and kids that we brought out of the portal. We've got 8 kids from the portal on our roster, probably 5 or 6 that may start opening day. So we've gone every which way we can to bring in the talent that we could bring in to hopefully compete for a championship. Like I said, it's been 4 years in the making. We feel like this year is where we're in our best position to compete at the top of our league.
Anna, we'll talk to you. I know a lot of people know your name because you are from around here. How about going to D.H. Conley, going to high school and school around here and ending up at East Carolina? Is that something you wanted to do for a long time?
Yeah, so I actually grew up like going to East Carolina games all the time. So it's always been like kind of a dream of mine. It's a pretty full circle moment, but if you know me, you know I always brag about being a hometown kid. I think it's very special to be able to play in front of my community and even in front of my parents and grandparents to be able to come and watch my games. So I'm very blessed, and it's very special to be from Greenville.
That's awesome. And Emma, a lot of people know your name because of the amazing season you had last year. So where are you from originally?
So I'm from Shankatig, Virginia.
All right, and how did your all your travels end up here in Greenville? How'd you get here to ECU?
So my first year I played at Virginia Tech, and then things out of my control just didn't go the way they were supposed to. So hit the portal, coach called, took me about maybe 10 minutes, I'd say. Like, it didn't take very long, and I was like, okay, this is the right fit. Like, he's going to teach me how to love the game again and actually just play the way I'd like to.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Coach and Emma, y'all can both speak to this, but like the portal, some people put a major negative label on it. Some people say it's great all the way around, but it's an individual case-by-case basis, right? And you kind of have to sift through that too, I imagine, when you're talking to these players. You know, why are you leaving? What do you want in your new school? Everybody's got their own story with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the portal's not going away. Transferring is not going away. There's a lot of things coming to college athletics, but I mean, you're allowed multiple transfers now. We're not going to put that in the air for someone like Emma because she's doing a great job with our program, but it's not going away, so we're going to use it to our advantage. Like I said, we've got 8 on our roster. We've got like Annie Kate Dalton and Morgan Johnson, kids that are doing big things for our program that we brought in from some P4 schools, and we're going to continue to do that. We feel like we're building somewhere that we can recruit the young kid, we can recruit transfers, kids that are going to want to be a part of what we're building here. And I think our culture is what kind of sets us apart. And we're kids that have played at other programs and maybe not had the experience for one reason or another that wasn't right for them. They can look at our program and see, all right, this is this is what it's supposed to be about. We have the resources, we have a schedule, we can compete nationally, and you can take care of us, and we're going to enjoy our experience. And we kind of put that all together to where you get the best of all worlds here.
You said it didn't take long to buy into Coach Winkler. Was there any worry at all about, getting to know the new team and the girls fitting in, all that? And how long did that take?
It didn't take very long at all. I mean, growing up, you play travel softball, you meet a lot of girls, you go to a lot of camps, so it's something you do your entire life. So that part was easily, just happened so easily. But I would say, the hardest part was just getting accustomed to, the way they do things here, which, I mean, is great, and it was a great change, but it was just different because it was more laid back, but you still got your work in, you still, got what you needed to in, and at an elite level.
Emma mentioned travel softball there. Could you even put a guess on how many games you've played in your life as far as it's year round, right?
There's really no telling. And I went everywhere. I've been California, Colorado, everywhere in the South. So literally everywhere. There's no telling how much money my parents spent for sure.
Is there too much at any point for kids growing up playing softball, Coach, or do they need to play as much as they can? Do you have an answer for that?
What I would like to see more is them practice more. I mean, these kids play so many games, and they don't get an opportunity to develop and practice and own in their skills. I talk to kids that come to our camps and say, yeah, you're going to play a lot of games. Get in the weight room, get stronger, prepare yourself to play at this level. You're going to play high-level games, but, I mean, that's where the money is. It's for who puts on the travel ball tournaments. The money is in the games. The money is coming to their showcases, so it's not going to change. But there's absolutely to a point where they play too much, and they travel too much. You've got travel ball teams here in North Carolina that I don't believe play a game in this state. So it is unbelievable, the amount of travel, the amount of games. And, again, we want them to come to us prepared to play at this level, and they don't get to develop enough.
How much, weight room stuff do y'all do before you get to college? I know Conley's come a long way from that little building they had when I was in school 20-some years ago. But were you prepared for that when you got here to East Carolina, the weight training part?
I would say I wish I got an earlier start with it, earlier in high school. I think I just didn't find the right fit for me early on. The main thing that I did struggle with my freshman year was my power and being big enough and strong enough. So I do wish I started earlier, but I'd say my junior year in high school was when I really got serious about it.
How about you, Em? How long have you had the pop in your bat? Is that something you've been doing for a while?
Yeah. So I actually bought my own set of plates and barbell and everything. So I mean, since maybe 6th, 7th grade.
Wow. Okay.
I started.
You got a good start.
I wish that I started a little bit later because with the way I do things, sometimes I do a little bit too much just because that's the way I've always done it and the way I like to do things. But just stepping back just a hair would have helped a little bit more.
You would recommend maybe 8th grade, 9th grade, get going with that?
Maybe 8th grade.
Okay.
She doesn't lack power at all.
And we saw that last year. It was good to see. Coach, how about in the circle? Let's talk about the pitching for this team. We always bring that up with you because it is a key element to softball for sure. So who are you excited about pitching this year?
Yeah, we feel like we have kind of our deepest pitching staff, but we're going to rely on probably less pitchers for a big part of our innings. Taylor Apple had an outstanding season last year, came in as a freshman, started pitching Friday night games in conference for us, so got a lot of experience. Jordan Hatch comes back, where she's got 3.5 years of experience now, and she's looking as better than she has during her entire career. We credit that to our new pitching coach, Lexi Hanley. She's our pitching coach, left-handed, so we kind of took the left-handed pitcher under her wing a little bit and helped develop her. And then Kendall Frost is a freshman for us who came in with a lot of national accolades through travel ball, the recruiting process, is a top 100 freshman in D1 softball right now. So we're going to rely on her a lot, and we're going to see how quick she can not act like a freshman when it comes to pitching in big games. She'll get an opportunity opening weekend to throw some big games for us. So we've got the ability to throw 2 pitchers for sure that are number 1 types, and then a Jordan Hatch that can kind of change things up a little bit. So we feel really strongly about the top of our rotation. Then we have a Devin Long and an Ava Fisher who hope to continue to develop and eat up some innings where we need to. But we feel like through our top 3, where we'll be three heavy, the 3-headed monster there, that we can compete with anyone in the league.
Talk to a lot of baseball guys, and there's more computers involved now than ever before. Is that the same with softball, or do you get involved in the analytics and stuff like that? Like, Emma, how much do you look at your swing, try to improve it, those types of things?
Sometimes it can be a good thing, sometimes it can be a bad thing, especially with the video, because sometimes you can overanalyze and just sit there and look at it for hours and hours on end and just overlook, your swing and stuff. I would say it's a good thing because you can just tweak like the little things that maybe you're just dropping your hands a hair. Okay, I need to, actually get to the ball a little bit better than I am. So, I mean, it can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing at the same time, I think.
How about you, Anna? Like, do you look at that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would say like one big thing for me is like watching my game film is just like figuring out what am I doing in the game, because a lot of the time hitting BP in the cage is so much different than when you're on the field, like at the plate, and just like your approach. Like there's a lot of the times where I don't even realize what my like body language looks like, and that's one thing that I've had to learn since my freshman year to fix. And I feel like that's something that film catches that I wouldn't see myself.
Coach, how much are you able to look at opponents? I guess you can watch every game now with ESPN Plus and things like that, so that's probably come a long way. But if you've got a pitcher coming in for a tournament, is it kind of sight unseen, or are you able to kind of watch every opponent?
No, we've got access to every pitch thrown by every returning player in the entire country.
Nice.
So for us, the staff will dive in a lot more than the players. We'll give them access to some, but we don't want kind of paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
Too much information, especially preseason tournaments. We face 4 opponents opening weekend. If we try to throw 20 pitchers at them, their heads are going to spin. So we'll give them some scouting to look at, some preparation, but cheat sheets to where if a pitcher comes in, we can look real quick to see what they throw. They may have had an opportunity to see them on video some, but we have all the information available at their fingertips, and it's kind of like a buffet. We'll send in an app to the girls every picture that they may see. It's up to them how much they want to look at it. Some will panic because it's too much. Some will dive into it and have the ability and fall in love with that. So we'll be prepared for the players, but as a staff, we'll look at absolutely everyone we can and have a plan for what we're going to do with each pitcher, each staff that we'll face.
Looking forward to the upcoming season, and once y'all get going, you get going. You play a few weeks, and you look up, and the record's like 20-2 after a few. You play so many games, but any big trips, fun trips before you get into conference play? These tournaments you play early on.
Looking at our non-conference this year, it's completely different than last season. Like I said, last season I think we were 20-2 before conference play started, and we feel like we didn't test our program enough. We jumped into conference play, and that's the first time where we were really pushed, and we got off to a slow start in conference play. And when we finally kind of got our calluses and our scars, it was halfway through the conference season. This year, we will be tested early and often. Our non-conference schedule is probably tougher than anyone in our league, and that was by design. Like I said, we're 4 years in the making with our roster to try to compete for a championship. So we set up the schedule to it's as tough as it ever has been. So we open up at South Carolina. We're going to Columbia. We got South Carolina there. We got Virginia, who's in a couple top 25 polls to where we'd be tested right away. We got some big teams coming into our preseason tournaments. Then we're going down to Clemson. We'll play a couple more Power Fours. Michigan's coming here. Duke's coming here for a doubleheader. So I think we've got 13 Power Four programs on our schedule. So we will be tested early and often to where, like I said, the calluses, the scars will be there come conference play. And if our record's 20-2 again, we're gonna make some national news. But we're gonna be prepared for what the American brings at us.
Y'all got to be excited about that. Great competition, and yourself, like Emma, how did you feel coming off last year with this team that had struggled in conference play the previous how many ever seasons to have a good record there and a good overall record? How did you feel coming off that, and how can you build onto that for this year?
I think one thing that we learned last year is just like, going into conference and the kind of the schedule we had before that wasn't as tough as we would have liked, I would think. And just like going into conference, like it's a little bit tougher. And now that we have that schedule to set us up for success in the conference, we're just going to blow by everybody. Like nothing's going to compare to that schedule we have before because we've already, gone through the struggles, the mental aspects in the beginning, if there are any. But, yes, that counts. And we want to win those games, but winning that conference, I think, is what we're really looking forward to, and that's really setting us up for success. Is that front end of that schedule?
And how much fun do you have day to day with your team? What's the camaraderie level like, and how do the girls get together off the field and things like that?
Yeah, we have the craziest group. Like we get along really well. We have a lot of fun when we're at practice. I don't think we lack any. Like it's just we're always having a good time, honestly. And off the field, we do a lot of stuff together. We try to monthly. We did it a lot during the fall. Try to get together and kind of do like a potluck as a team. A lot of us go to church together on Tuesday nights. So we're a very close-knit group, and we're fun to be around.
Yeah, and Coach, that's part of, I guess, the culture instilled
Absolutely.
here, and I know that those types of things are very important to you, right?
Yeah, and that's again when we say we're bringing in transfers. I mean, we want them to see that we have an environment where you're going to enjoy being around each other. We want the players to be themselves around their staff. We want them to have their personality, know that they're not going to come and get beat up mentally at practice every day, that it's going to be an environment where you have the opportunity to develop and grow, and you're going to enjoy the heck out of it. And that's, like I said, what I believe sets our program apart. Our players, I think, enjoy coming to practice where they're not going to get beat up all the time. It's a fun place to grow and develop and try to be their best selves.
And Anna, are you like a tour guide for people like Emma? They come in like, where should I eat? Where should I go hang out? What do I do?
Yeah, whenever we would have transfers, I would be the first one to get the call to go with, and I just, everything about Greenville, so I like that. It's nice to me. I like being able to tell people where to go, what to do. So
She's a year-round employee, so she's here for the summer for recruits also.
There
I
you
love
go.
it. I love it.
It benefits us.
Emma, I've been here my whole life, so tell me, how do you enjoy Greenville after being here for a year plus?
Other than like this week, it's usually warm.
Yeah.
There's no snow in sight. It's great, and it's only 4 hours away from home. Too,
Glad
so
you
it's not-
committed and played here before that snow. That's a good thing.
Yeah. See, that was one of the big reasons. Like, I really like the warm weather.
Yeah,
And it,
beach, all
yeah,
that.
exactly. It doesn't snow much, like I said, other than like this week, which it's been a little off to me. But other
Yeah.
than that,
Good deal. Well, nice to get to know y'all. Coach, good to see you again. Before we wrap up, Jarrett, do you want to say anything to Broncos fan, Coach Winkler, all the stuff you said about Bo Nix this year? By the end of the year, Jarrett had to give Bo Nix his credit, his flowers, as they say. But Coach, I got a big one this week. You think the Commanders can get it done?
I do, and I don't know why. I feel like they got a shot. On paper, they shouldn't, but the playoffs have been wild so far, so it'll be fun to watch.
Man, looking forward to coming up this weekend. Y'all watch any sports? You into it at all? You got any teams or anything? Nope.
No. My dad's a big Commanders fan, but
Good man.
yeah.
Tell him I said hail to the Commanders.
Softball 24/7 for this crew.
There you go. That's how it needs to be. All right. Great to get to know y'all. Let's do it again down the road. Coach will certainly talk to you again, but good luck this season.
Awesome.
Appreciate you
Appreciate
joining
you,
us.
Claire.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.